bit of crowd participation. How many of you guys remember the theme song? Guys, now let's all sing it together. You ready? Power Ranger, Lightspeed. Lightspeed rescue. The signal is calling. Our planet is falling. The danger will test you. Better make it Lightspeed rescue. Power Ranger, Lightspeed rescue. Power Ranger, Lightspeed rescue. That was pretty good, guys. That was pretty good. One, two.
You forgot the queen! Oh, the queen is here!
Hello, everybody! We should do the song. No.
Cheers, Rocky. Alright, so I'm just going to yell because I feel like this room is intimate enough where everybody can participate. But Power Rangers has been on, your guys' season was on 25 years ago. I don't want to age you, but that's quite an accomplishment. Not only has Power Rangers been on, I think it was almost on over 30 consecutive years, but taking it back 25 years ago, what was the first initial reaction when you all got cast for the role of Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue? We'll start with you.
Well, I went into audition and I thought, okay, I can't sound like this. I went into audition. No.
I went, hello, Queen Bencher. Oh my God, this is so good to see you here. So anyway, as the actress Diane, I can say I went into audition and I thought they're never going to hire me if I sound like this, so I did this instead and I got the role. So I'm commanding you to all clap now.
You were the leader of the team, and historically the Red Rangers the leader of the team. Process and how that went then.
So my audition process is a little weird because, I should say weird, unconventional in many respects because I came in at the 11th hour. They've been casting for a while, as they tend to do, going through lots of talent to find these amazing folks I got to work with. But I, again, kind of got introduced at the last minute while they were sorting through options. I was living in Florida. I was getting off of a little bit on a show there that happened to star Christopher Kanan Lee, who played Andros in Power Rangers in Space, and I heard about the fact that they were casting, and the idea was presented to me that, like, hey, you kind of could be a Red Ranger, maybe you should put yourself on tape. So I did a self-tape in Florida, sent it in, and from the moment I heard about the audition to the moment I got the role was around 2.5 weeks. So I was living in Florida at the time, and found out that I got the role and had to pack up and be back in LA in, I think, like 5 or 6 days to start training and getting ready for all that. So for me, it was a really, really fast process, but an amazing journey nevertheless.
locked in genre, if what we see in that style of filmmaking wouldn't necessarily, no change, wouldn't exist had you probably not gotten the Power Rangers. The reason I say that, because I was talking to David Leitch not terribly long ago, and David Leitch was the director of Bullet Train, he was the co-director of the first John Wick film, and he credits you for really helping him really fully embrace the martial arts style of everything that he's doing. So my question for you is, how much after Power Rangers did you want to continue training and with the stunt side of things and kind of embrace that style?
How much after Power Rangers did I want to continue?
Yeah.
I'm a martial artist first, then actor, so martial arts has been my life. And yeah, so it's ongoing. I'm still working with David at 87 North Productions, helping to train his next generation stunt team and bring up new people. Still run a class with my wife now, and just help the next generation of action actors level up their skills as well as stunt professionals, so this way they can go out there and audition for opportunities and do some great work out there in cinema. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. Let's hear it from Mike. Kelsey had a lot of just an adventurous spirit, and I feel like you infused a lot of your own personality into the role. Talk to me about what you wanted to bring to Kelsey and then what beyond the page.
What I wanted to bring to Kelsey was my. That's a good question. I got to play myself as Kelsey. So, I was rock climbing. I was rock climbing in high school, and I was rollerblading, I was snowboarding, I was skiing, I was mountain biking, I was doing all those things. Actually, what happened was Koichi, who was the second unit director at the time, he wanted me to skateboard originally, and I was not the best skateboarder, and I said, well, I can inline skate, and he's like, okay. So I brought my inline skate. I think a lot of the time they bring a lot of our own characters into, the writers bring a lot of our own characters into the roles. I could be wrong. But yeah, I was really crazy, so it was easy.
That's actually a great segue, Keith, because bringing their own personality into the role. Joel was a ladies' man. He was a...
How much did you bring?
It's fantastic, though. But tell us about the character, Joel, and what you infused with that character from your own personality.
I think to kind of back up Sasha, I think the writers kind of wrote the roles around our natural personalities. This was my first experience with acting. I come from the music world. I just moved to LA. I was there like 6 months and kind of went to an acting class who had affiliation with Power Rangers and suggested I read for the role. So when I went to the audition, I really didn't have an expectation. I actually first thought it was a voiceover until I got there and saw actual people were there. And I just kind of walked in with it as myself. I'm a kind of a naturally fun dude, charismatic. And they kind of took to that. I guess it was something, I think it was a breath of fresh air because they gave me the gig. I didn't have a headshot. I kind of went to 1 hour photo and blew up a picture at Kinko's, and they laughed at me, and I was like, "What are you laughing at?" And they kept calling me back, and after I lost about 5 pounds from the McDonald's salad shakers and a lot of water, and they made me shave this mustache that I took my whole life to grow. But I needed to find a way to pay my third of the rent, so I took the job. The game was a huge blessing. 26 years later, 47.
Series, the Sixth Ranger. How much of the character did you know about going into the season, and how much did you find out about once you booked the role?
Going into the audition process, I didn't know what I was really auditioning for. I just thought I was auditioning for one of the Power Rangers. And I remember seeing some of these
about what he would go through with his family on the show. It's the first time we kind of saw that side of it, that side of a family element like that on Power.
Wow, that's a lot. Hey, thank you. It's a whole thing was just a whirlwind for me for casting because I met Iris Hampton, our casting director, as a casting person from Disney. I met her at a convention, a talent show, and I said, "Oh, by the way, I can act. If you ever have a role or want to throw out to you." She was like, "Oh, come in tomorrow. We have this thing for you." She's the sweetest person. She talks like we think it's fake, but she really is that person. She's like, I'm trying to hear her. Anyway, so I went in, and the room was packed. I was like, wow, this is a lot of people. And I only had a little 2-page audition. So I did that, and I was like, okay. And there was some people in the room that were familiar. I could tell who was the Rangers and who was playing Mark. There's about 20 years difference. And then I was like right in between because I wasn't quite what they wanted. But anyway, so she called me. She goes, "Oh, you did a great job. You're a good actor. Can you come back tomorrow?" I go, "Well, it's a 2-page part. Did they see enough?" And she goes, "No, it's more recurring role. So come back tomorrow, okay?" And I said, "Okay." So then I realized I was supposed to be older, so I put a little gray in my hair. I went in, and Jonathan, the executive producer, was like, "Oh, you look older today." I go, "Well, this is how I normally look. I just put the black in yesterday because I thought you wanted younger, but this is my natural gray." Of course, that was what they call a fib. And actors do that a lot to try to get roles. And then I auditioned, and I had time to digest the material because the day before, I got the sides an hour before the audition. I was trying to read them in the car on the way there. So I had the overnight to work on it, and then came in the next day, and I felt better. And then 2 days later, she called, she goes, "Oh, congratulations, you're on this show." I go, "Well, it's recurring, right?" She goes, "Oh, did I say that? No, it's a serious regular." I was like, "What? You're going to be on almost every episode." I was like, "Oh, okay." So then once I got on, I realized I was supposed to be the father to this guy. And Allison, who unfortunately is not here with us. Hello, Allison. But, I was like, "Oh, what did I get into? I'm way too young for this." I think we were like 9, 10 years apart. Yeah, they put on a fake mustache initially. And they put all the gray back in my hair because it wasn't really mine. And we shot 2 weeks, and we had a 2-week vacation for Christmas. And actually grew my own mustache out. And they just kept adding to it until it finally grew like months later to make it a little bit. So I didn't answer your question at all. So what was the... Anyway, you just look at the role and say, here's a role model for them, for my kids. So you just, you know people like that in your life that you grew up with. Somebody even said, role models for the shows, such as Captain Mitchell was your role model. Thank you for that. It's really hits me every time you say that. So you just try to do that.
Drawing your memories back to 25 years ago, one thing that I find extremely impressive about Power that a lot of younger actors kind of take for granted is that it's a real training ground for any actor to start with because you get to learn fight choreography at a young age, how to learn your lines, how to do ADR. You get a one-stop shop. It's almost like college for any young actor. So I kind of want to talk about your experience in Power Rangers University, if you will, because a lot of these kids that go to New Zealand, they got a little bit easier. You guys are shooting back here in LA, if I'm not mistaken. So talk to me about preparing for the role and the martial arts training that you either had to do, the ADR stuff that you had to learn for the first time possibly, and learning your lines. How many episodes a week were you guys shooting? That's what I'll get into.
I'll start. I think how many episodes was it? 4? We crossed like during. I've been doing this about 26 years since then, and this is probably the hardest job. I'm still yet to find a job that was as hard as this, as far as just like the days, the monotony, the physicality of it was like, it was a pretty tough grind, but it is exactly a training ground from ADR to learning lines. I got a lot more flexible. I thought I had broken my spine a couple times working out with the stuntman. The only one who could do it was Mike. we were athletic, but you know. So it was a really good training ground as far as just getting your feet wet in the business and getting those reps over and over and over again, and just being in front of the camera. And I didn't know why they would put tape on the ground. It was a mark, you know. It was very, yeah, my color, green. It was not black. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good training. I was black. Ron was black actually. How many episodes? Like 56 episodes?
40. Oh, there it is. 40 episodes.
And the season finale was grueling. It was murder. Remember that Long Beach under the water? That was tough.
Season finale, because honestly, I think that's one of the better season finale of all Power Rangers, especially with all the underwater stuff. Where was that shot, and how much did you have to learn how to do something?
Long Beach. Yeah, it was at the Long Beach Olympic pool. It's no longer there. They built it for the Olympics in 1984. Thank you. Yeah, I know some stuff. I know some things.
The hard part was that we shot at night, and then we would shoot, and then they would let us go back to our trailer and sleep for like 3 hours.
Was that perfect?
Then they'd knock on our door and throw us back under the water. You guys remember?
Yeah, I was there.
What most people don't realize that Scott, who is no longer with us, who was our ADR producer, such a great human being, he was actually a certified diver, and he trained people to be certified. So I think everybody here but one, right, all got certified, and we thought, oh well, it's perfect because we're going to have to go underwater for this stuff. So that was kind of a cool. So talking about training for this. Diane, you didn't get trained.
I didn't get trained. But I did 10 years of Shakespeare, so that could
Because Johnny Albass, I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Johnny, has an extensive career now in doing voiceover work in anime. But the ADR process, was that new to you guys, and what did you learn from that experience alone? Because people don't realize that's a huge part of Power Rangers.
I think how was ADR for you, Mike?
Yelling at a screen. That's what I remember, not even my lines. I was always yelling and doing my martial arts sounds, yelling at the screen.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Grunts, fight
It was
grunts.
an experience.
Was that usually done after like the whole season's over, or did you have to do it like on
Episode per episode.
per week?
Yeah, or wait.
Can you walk us through like a week of what it's like to be on Power Rangers, getting the script, and shooting 3 episodes? What does that look like?
For me, it was different because most of my stuff was on the Aqua base. So usually in one day they'd shoot every bit of my stuff in the Aqua base in one sitting, basically. So I sometimes didn't know if I was doing episode 1, 2, or 3. You know, I was like, what is this for? And they go, it doesn't matter, you're just giving out commands. So I was like, but are they fighting a monster or are they going for ice cream? It doesn't matter, just say the lines. So that was always interesting for me because I shot all my stuff in one day and it was for 3 episodes. Then I'd be gone for like a week. So that was different. But ADR was great because of the grunts and learning how to do all that stuff.
I know you had to get up super early, right? You had to get up and be there like.
I was always the first one there. I had to be there at 5 a.m., right? Yeah. Yeah.
It'd been like 6 or 8.
I know, because you guys are guys. Even though I had like super quick makeup. But yeah, I was there at 5 a.m. I would wake up at...
Hey, Jen, Vampire. Say something.
Destroy them all!
I have one question for Taylor. Can you do a vicious laugh for us, please?
I'd rather do a sidekick, but later. Okay? Okay, now laugh.
That's such a great question. So I wasn't originally the Viper, as you guys remember. I wasn't the original. So when I actually got the part, the pants were way too small for me, way too tight, along with the shoes. But ultimately, we got my size. Yeah, and I think. But it was such a pleasure working with these amazing crew. It was really a life-changing experience. 25 years later.
Likewise, thank you.
Speaking of 25 years ago, you guys had such long early days on, or long days on set, though. Who was the one to keep with the lights? Who was the one to make you crack when you guys were shooting the scene together?
Right? I mean, for me, I just remember being in the back of the Hummer with you, and we were like doing scenes, and he would just be like trying to make me laugh.
How do I suggest a question?
Wake up as the new guy, so I was getting a little like haze.
Just wanted to make you feel welcome.
Well, look, I'm going to open this up to you guys with fan questions. Here, I do have one request only, is that we're not going to ask them to morph. I feel like if you want, listen, if they want you guys to morph, they can see you guys can morph them, right? You guys want to morph them? I would never do that. So you guys can teach me. That'd be one thing. But yeah, but we do have fan questions, so if you guys want to ask a question, I can spin line up right here in the middle. You can figure it out.
Dun, 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 dun.
Where?
Hello, you balance check. How's it, sir? How are you?
I'm Logan.
Melvin.
It's Melvin.
Wait, did I say it wrong? Sorry.
Go ahead and ask your question. One of us will repeat it on the microphone. Starting with Shakespeare down there.
Hi everyone. My question is, sorry, my question is for Chad. So after Lightspeed Rescue, I saw you on a show, like fighting another actor, and I was like, I recognize him. He's from Lightspeed Rescue, and then later one day, the actor turned out to be Kamen Rider Green Knight from Dragon Knight. His name was Matt from Kamen Rider Green Knight. So I was just wondering, have you met any other martial artists? Sorry, special
Yes.
yeah, have you met any other martial artists that we may have known of or from other shows and stuff?
Yes, so Matt Mullins, who played Kamen Rider Wing Knight, was my student. So I trained him from his first intro class in martial arts. So then, you may know the cast of Beast Morphers. I trained 6 of them. Jackie, Rodriguez, I don't know. So, yeah. After Rangers.
And also Charlie Kirsch, right? From Once and Always?
Yeah, Ranger, Once and Always. She's the most recent. She's fantastic. After she won the world titles. But yeah, you might know Louis Tan from Mortal Kombat, Cobra Kai, and Randall Hannigan. There's lots of martial artists that are out there that come from SMA. Yeah. But I was on it. I didn't train those people.
What about your sons?
My oldest son, Talon, he season finale of Cobra Kai, played the All Valley Karate champion from Topanga Canyon Karate. Gage, my younger one, was in Matrix 4. He played Trinity's son, one of the sons, the 2 boys, and he dabbled a little bit.
Awesome. We have Tim from Arcadia who has a question.
First of all, it's so good to see and meet all of you after 25 years. You were the first Power Rangers team I ever got to watch and experience. So it's great. Right. Well, first of all, I know you were in a bunch of different team ups. I mean, you team Cross Galaxy, Time Force, but I just wonder, what is some other team-ups that you know, think you would like work well with, or you want to do, like if you had the chance? I imagine you would, you know, it would be great if you worked with SPD. I thought like that dynamic would be so interesting in my head, of course. But yeah, just wonder what other team-ups you maybe would like to do if you had a chance.
I would love to, I'm good friends with Walter. I would love to do something with Walter Jones. That would be great. We have the same manager. It'd be fun to work with. All right. It's not a team up answer. I don't even know what this is.
There's so many things.
I think a yellow for yellow.
Forever Yellow.
Forever yellow.
We got Johnny from Anaheim. Johnny, how you doing? By the way, I do have another question that hopefully you guys can answer by the end of the house. I can be a little time to think about it. Where do you think your characters would be in the Power Rangers universe now? You don't have to answer that. Think about that a little bit, but just let that marinate. But we got Johnny from Anaheim. Johnny, how you doing?
And this is for everyone. With all the stunts happening, I think all the pyrotechnics and all that kind of stuff. How did you guys deal with it? How did you guys build that? Things like that. Crazy explosives.
I was thrilled to run through fire. I said, you're running through fire? And I was like, cool. That's cool. Firefighter episode.
Whatever they let us do, just keep them. I think we all really enjoyed it. And I did a special. I took a little bit of martial arts and that's dancing. So I was like, put me in, coach, or whatever it is. Not like they would let me do a bunch, but anytime you guys do any physical stuff. So.
Speaking of that, did you guys get outside of the costumes? You guys weren't wearing the costumes. Did you guys get work on second unit action? You do, yes you do. But did you guys get to work on the second unit action when you guys were in your civilian kind of like uniforms? How was that? How was that?
Stuff, anything we did was in his vehicles, doing stuff with the powers, the suits. It was a miniature version of us.
I mean, for the most part, too, you guys have an incredibly tall team compared to us.
Flipping off the side of the
Bill, I did not have stuff like that.
Bill from Pasadena, how you doing?
Hi. Anyways, first off, it's good to see you guys. All you guys, reuniting for the 25th anniversary. Well, one idea for a Hawkilles crossover was for Beast Morphers. That there would be a sort of that Captain Mitchell would know the commanding officer, Commander Shaw. Yeah. But anyways, I got a question for Keith. I've known that you've been doing some movies, Fat Albert, Dream Girls and such. What was it like working with those certain stars, like Kenan Thompson, Beyonce, Jennifer Hudson, those people? What was it like?
It was cool. I mean, they're very nice and down to earth, and it was a good working environment. King is hilarious. Beyonce's she's pretty. She's a good singer. So it was cool. It was really cool. But again, believe it or not, every project that I've worked on, I've always been able to pull something from this first project. So this was, without this, none of that would happen by far. Trust me.
That's incredible. Did you know? I also worked with Beyonce.
Did not know.
I worked with Beyonce. I was a drunk in the bathroom and obsessed.
6 degrees of another team.
He was an Albright. That's her husband, and he's getting seduced in the bathroom. That was me. So there's a trivia question.
Keith, Rhett, you guys both have musical backgrounds. In the other seasons of Power Rangers, and Power Rangers Zeo, and I think Beast Morphers, they both have musical episodes. Would you guys have ever wanted like a musical episode for Lightspeed Rescue if it presented itself? And also, question for all of you: what's your guys' go-to karaoke song?
Oh man, we definitely would have done that. I don't think any of the producers would even knew that we were we didn't sing every day, but I don't have the energy. We'd be in our dressing rooms, and like all the rooms of the dressing rooms were like open, so they were kind of like cubicles, and it would be like, it was like, I mean, I first came on the show later, so like, so just like filling it over there. It was like 7 a.m. People just be hitting all the bits. Sorry.
Yeah, I've seen Keith before in person. It's incredible.
I can't sing, but I will say I remember with Brett and makeup, we would try to do the NSYNC Bye 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 dance.
This is the era. Do you guys ever go to karaoke song at all when you guys are
Play that fucking music, white boy.
there you go. Anybody else?
Baby got back.
That's a good one.
Diane, what's your favorite karaoke song?
Story of movie in Huntsville, Alabama, and I don't remember what I sang. It's thankfully a blank for me.
We got Pat from South Pasadena with a question. How you doing, Pat?
That's very nice. And, greetings, strangers, and happy early Memorial Day. And I want to thank you for doing the show, for coming out here and hanging with us. I'm very happy that Linkara, aka Lewis Lumheck, saw fit to do this History of Power Rangers series. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we have. And here's my question. I'd like to know if you've ever had the privilege of going up against any other Power Ranger lineup on Family Feud, because they've always been granted that, and they pick a favorite charity and they go against each other. And I've always been a huge fan of the late greats Richard Dawson and Bright Holmes, and I was wondering if you ever had the honor of doing that, and what other Ranger lineup did you go against? I could throw out Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Walker, Texas Ranger, any of the Badlands, cast members from those. Go ahead.
Well, Power Morphicons next year. I think we can set up a Family Feud against another cast. I thought that'd be a lot of fun, right? See, test their knowledge, yeah, a little bit. Vince from.
I have one request, as Queen mentioned, and that is that a woman gets up to ask a question. It's all guys. Where are the women? Come on. Come on. Not one woman is standing. Come on, ladies, get up there. Yes, come on.
Come on to the front.
Come on, ladies.
Here we go. Where are you from? LA. All right, what's your question, guys?
Well, she wants to know if based on this and she wants to know if she can get everybody's autograph.
She get everybody's autograph. I think she needs a little help. I think that could be arranged. I think definitely.
She's a baby Viper.
This baby Viper. Here we go. The next generation. Hey, what's your favorite season of Power? Oh, baby. Do you know that favorite season of Power Rangers? Well, we're going to get her trained. She's going to be elected as a by the end. Oh! So what's your favorite season of Power Rangers? Of course it is. There we go. It was nice meeting you guys. Yeah, that's awesome. Look at that. Oh, an autograph though. There we go.
But it's a trick question. If somebody on the panel here asked what your favorite season of Power Rangers was, pretty good answer would be Lightspeed Rescue. How many people get that wrong? I'm like, I appreciate that, but really? Just a tip.
All right, Vince.
Trying to keep it moving here. Oh, we have the song.
Vince, Mahabra, how you doing?
Good. My question is there anything that still surprises you to this day about the Power Rangers now?
Anything that surprises you to this day about the Power Rangers family? Yeah, it surprises you, Sean.
I came to PowerWorkCon last summer, and it was just amazing, and we had such a great time. So I wouldn't be here unless I had fans like you guys, because you're just so rad and lovely. So
Yeah, actually, let's hear it for you guys, because you guys are keeping Power Rangers alive. 25 years later, you are celebrating their amazing season. How you doing? Kevin, from San Francisco, has a question.
So I'm using this as a reference, an example, I think, but with last and always, the camera thing, if you guys are ever presented the opportunity or another kind of episode, whatever, I think, it would play with it, because your finale had really close, that death on the finale, all of you, I think your characters would actually, develop, later, I think, even being mature, who made sure, since she never really died, she was just imprisoned.
Yeah, so the question is, would you be willing to return after from the anniversary episode, if you would? Yes. Ron says yes. I think we have a yes across the Look, one thing that we haven't seen explored in Power Rangers yet is in animation. So another question I have for you guys is, especially with the ADR work that you all did, would you be up for reprising your roles in animated form as well? Alright, yes on both fronts. We gotta make this happen, guys. We need you guys to get out there on social media. Let Hasbro know. We need another Lightspeed Rescue Anniversary episode, guys. Mexico City, we have Jorge. How you doing, Jorge?
I told you from Mexico just to meet you, and for me it's amazing because when I was a child coming back home, watching Lightspeed Rescue was amazing for me, so I just want to say thanks to you because you are my heroes since I was a kid. So thanks so much for everything. And thanks so much for everything.
Incredible. Thank you, Jorge. Hello, how are you? What's your name? Ryan. Where are you from? Los Angeles. Here we go, Ryan. What's your question?
Okay, that's two questions.
Of course, let's do it.
Okay, so my first question is,
First?
I would call it Chad. You're an event. I'm sorry. When I see you guys, I always see you like character things. Sorry, it's just rude, but just honestly as I can. But yeah, apparently you're the inventor of tricking. Tricking where you put martial arts, gymnastics, and breakdancing together. How come you never ever part of those scenes? Like you never, you actually mentioned. Sorry, how come you're not in the competing scenes, even though you invented tricking. I did not invent tricking. I invented XMA, Extreme Martial Arts, which is a program that teaches people how to do XMA. So the combination of martial arts, gymnastics, acrobatics, dance, performing arts, all rolled into one. So tricking started out of San Jose with a bunch of martial artists from the West Coast Taekwondo family. But it got popularized on the tournament circuit because they created extreme martial arts divisions for people competing in night. Basically, it was Taylor Lautner that went on to do other things, and that's what people trained. So all the super hero, Marvel, DC stuff doubles, a lot of the original ones from Wonder Woman and Captain America, and I trained all those guys, and they brought the tricking, the flips, the tricks, the acrobatics to the big screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, and this one's for Jennifer again. You're operating like an account position at this beauty store, but no, actually got a referral. Okay, I got a referral from you.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
I heard that you opened a beauty store for like beauty products and stuff, right?
Actually, I have 3 beauty brands. One is called Hawkilles, it's skincare, and the second is stuff is makeup, and then I just recently started Joy, which is scalp care. Everything's inspired by Chinese beauty rituals and super new traditions. Yes, and actually I have to thank Lightspeed Rescue Power Rangers for this because I have really heavy makeup. I know you guys all know fiber on makeup a lot. It ruined my skin, and that's what actually led me to become a beauty mentor. And I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for you guys, Power Rangers, so thank you.
Incredible! Where can
people want to know about the secret plans?
You can go to Pure Vista on Amazon and Costco, and Yansa, that's ynsa.com, is at Nordstrom's and QVC. And the Joy is really new, and it's just on Amazon and our website, yourjoy.com. Thank you.
And that's awesome. Mike, and for you, is XMA open to anybody to train them?
So I don't have my headquarters facility anymore. I sold it prior to the pandemic, but XMA is taught in martial arts schools around the world now because of our program. And so yeah, it's open to anybody. And there's different versions of the program. We created a leadership program with life skills and martial arts for partner that then was distributed through the American Taekwondo Association. So in any ATA school, the ATA Extreme part of it, the leadership part of it, was the XMA moves combined with life skills to create that leadership.
Incredible. Awesome. Thank you. We're only going to have time for a handful more questions. What's your name, sir? Hey, Pierre. What's your question? Quick.
So I actually got two quick questions though. So the first one is for all you guys. It's referring to Mr. Robinson. I know that you used to work with the late Val Kilmer in Washington. So for all you guys, do you guys have a favorite film that Val Kilmer was in?
I think for me, my favorite was Tombstone. He was pretty cool. I did a press school. He was pretty cool there too. It was like out of pocket all the time. No, it was out of pocket. Yeah.
And then the second one, this is strictly for Mr. C.W. Johnson. I understand that you are a Star Wars fan, and considering you gave your number, the reference of NC 555, I recall that Nick Pauly, who was the dancer of Deadpool, he recently got he got a guest appearance from Anakin Skywalker himself, Hayden Christensen. So that being said, which of the original 6 films of Star Wars do you actually prefer?
You said the original 6, you're referring to episodes 1 through 6? You know, I mean, Empire Strikes Back is pretty tops. I mean, you kind of put me on the spot here, but I'll go with Empire Strikes Back.
That's a good answer. Good answer. How you doing, man?
I'm from Laguna Niguel, and it's pretty close to Los Angeles, where Power Rangers used to be filmed before they went to New Zealand. I have a question for the whole podcast. If Lightspeed Rescue was signed into some Congo court, I think it would only be for Mitchell to try and use it as a good relationship with the governments to convince them why monopolizing secure activity is a bad idea. How about the rest of you?
So let me back up for a second. Sokovia Accords were what the Avengers signed when they had outlaw being superheroes. So I think essentially is the question.
Do you think the Lightspeed Rescue would ultimately regret signing in favor of the Accords because on account of the Steve Rogers belief that they're just trying to monopolize heroes?
Would you essentially have Lightspeed Rescue operate as an independent governing body that would choose who they help save, or would you like it to be more of a part of a larger superhero rescue mission? Yes.
Sounds like a new series.
Yeah, we just said that. Lightspeed Rescue, the new generation. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes, so we would want Lightspeed Rescue to operate independently outside of Steve Rogers' courts, or with Steve Rogers, I guess that would be the answer.
I think it's a funny question, mostly allowing credit because and not to mention my own disillusion to we start
Yes, a Power Rangers Civil War is a fascinating idea, though. I think that that is something that absolutely should happen. We've kind of talked about it.
I remember there
Excellent. Yes.
Power Rangers fight the game with each other. Maybe they can do that to all original teams that have personalized themselves.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Thank you so much for your question. We appreciate it. Thank you. That was awesome. Yes, Power Rangers Civil War. Great question, because I feel like that's something that a lot of these guys. You guys want some Power Rangers Civil War, right? There we go. How you doing, man? What's your name? Hey, where you from?
See,
yeah, how you doing?
Good. My question is for most of the cast. A lot of you come back for team-ups, and you also got previous team. In the case of Sean, you got to team up with 2 more times after that. What was it like getting to meet the previous team as like the current guys and the veterans versus the new guys? It's like, well, they're the new now, we're the veterans. Like, what was it like getting to meet the new teams? And also, like, any stories about other cast members?
Sean, before you answer, I'm going to extend that question as well, because I also want to know how the production changed when you came back 20 years later to Power Rangers. How that, because I was in New Zealand, you guys shot in LA.
So, it's different. It's the same. It's like you step back into the role. It's it's like riding a bicycle in many respects, especially in respect to Super Mega Force when Allison and I went back there. I mean, we obviously had a long history together on Lightspeed, and so there was a real familiarity there, as well as the fact that they, Koichi, one of our directors, was out there filming, or a lot of the people that were involved in Lightspeed were involved in Super Mega Force. And so, I saw some of the second unit folks, camera operators, and again, it's my family reunion getting back there. That said, the younger castmates was flattering and also a little strange to have a couple of them comment about the fact that they watched us when they were kids and now they were Power Rangers. I was trying to do the math because I'm not that old. But it was wild. And it kind of ties into the other question before about Sasha answered. The fandom is amazing, and it just sparks from Mighty Morphin to today, and it's wild to see how much enthusiasm there still is for the brand, for the franchise, for the work that we did, and how much we were able to touch your lives in childhood and adulthood along the way. So at any given point, it's great to interact with castmates who watched us, with fans who watched us, and just to be a part of that story going forward. And so yeah, if they did another Lightspeed episode, I'd be 100% great.
Let's hear it for yourselves. Yeah. So here's the deal. Listen, I'm going to put you guys in, we're going to rapid fire these. So what's your question and your name?
My name is Arya. I'm from Oakland, California. My question is for Mike. Let's see. Before I start my question, I just wanted to let you know that my Dojo's head instructor is somebody I personally know. His name is Strider Zizak, and I actually looked at his son's namesake. And my question is, Chad is a lifeguard in the series. Are you an avid swimmer in real life?
Are you an avid swimmer in real life?
I am an avid swimmer in real life. I grew up swimming year-round for 8 years as a child competitively.
That's incredible. So anybody who was drowning might could actually save me. That's incredible. Great question. How you doing, man? What's your name?
From Los Angeles. My question for you guys is that I know it gets really quickly, but I was going to tell you guys that growing up, people hear your very first experience as Power Rangers. Did you guys have any idols growing up, like superheroes or public figures or even athletes itself?
Your own personal heroes. There we go.
Okay, well,
The Queen. She lived over 600 years ago, and I'm writing a miniseries about her right now. It's Joan of Arc.
One of her famous quotes is, "Battles are first lost or won in the home." Joan of Arc.
Wow. Yeah, she's guys, if you don't know about her, you've got to look her up. She's just amazing. She changed the course of 100 years war at 17 years old, where women were like, no one ever heard of a woman in battle, except the Queen many centuries before in France, let's say. And there was someone in China, I think, and in India as well. Very, very rare. Most.
Is that good?
Bruce Lee.
For me, it was, I had heroes growing up, like athletes, Photo. She was a winner. I appreciated her because she had a healer, and I was asthmatic, so I was like, when I saw her running, I realized that I need to be my healer also, and now I do breath work and I do other things that have really expansion here. So, with that, I also, sorry, I grew up watching, she was like,
Imagine asking this person because I'm dying to know. Does Carter end up with Dave?
Yeah, as a dad, I'd like to know.
You tell that answer. You tell me. I'm not a writer on the series.
That's TBD. We'll figure it out.
We did have great writers, by the way. Jackie and Chip, who went on to be the executive producer in later years, they were awesome. They were really, really hands-on. Really cool listening to the art of Prince and Tubbs. They were really great. They should have applause.
Awesome. Yeah, let's hear for Jackie and Chip. All right, next question.
My name is Daniel. I'm from Sun City, California. And my question is for the entire cast. My question is, if you were given the opportunity back then or now to do a motion picture film, Power Rangers, what would the plot be, and also what would the tone of the film be?
That's a tough question.
Tough question. We're not.
That's definitely not going to be a rapid fire answer.
I think the genre would be for me would be a thriller, action thriller.
I mean, it did have, we did have monsters that were like supernatural, if you will, so.
Diabolical.
Yeah, I think it lends itself well to be.
My only 2 cents is Allison, I already mentioned Iris Hampton, her cast director. She looks like Allison's mother. And we kept trying to get them to write her in as Allison's mother, my ex, or my wife in the show, because it never happened. So if we did a movie, I'd want that to happen.
How close did you get to actually making that happen?
I don't know, they seemed like they were interested in listening, and then it never happened. So I'll probably kill from above, but well, we were pushing for it.
We're having that 25-year anniversary special. Go ahead, man.
I want to throw this out there. So David Leitch, who played Brian in an episode that we had that went on to direct John Wick, we went after the IP when Hasbro was selling E1. It was tied up in the sale. And we pitched to them the reinvention of the Power Rangers universe by David Leitch, the director. So we don't know where it's at right now, but if you want to put that out there, we're very interested in getting that IP and redoing it.
Before I wrap this up, I did ask you guys a question where you guys think your characters would be now. Answer that. I do have another question for you guys. Would you guys want to see Power Rangers rebooted or continued from the past 30-year legacy? We'll start here. Reboot or continuation? So reboot would starting completely fresh. Like a brand new take on the series altogether, whereas a continuation would pick up from the last 30-year legacy of the show's life.
I just muscle tested, it's a continuation.
Continuation, all right, Sean, how about you? All right, Mike? Reboot or reboot?
Transformers, I would say.
Okay, Sasha? Reboot. Keith?
I would like to reboot with the same characters now.
You have any fan cast who wants to play you? Or any young man that any actor? There you go, there you go. Right, reboot or continuation?
Reboot, but with the same actors.
There you go. Ron?
cast was such a favorite of the crew, and not to put down any of the cast because they're all so great. Our crew actually went up and tried to convince the guys at the top not to recast every year because they fell in love with us, we fell in love with them, and they just wanted to keep us around another year. It never happened, but to me, I wish that would have happened. That would have been really awesome because we still, you guys didn't know that? Yeah, I know a lot.
Hey, check for reboot or continuation.
A reboot.
Okay. Do any of you guys still keep in touch with Monica or Miss Becco? Yeah.
No, I can't
Well, that leads us into where do you think your characters are now? So that's fine. He's doing just fine. So where do you think your guys' characters would be in the Power Rangers universe now? With Mitchell, what would Mitchell be doing?
You mean General Mitchell?
I think, yeah, General Mitchell, maybe Director Mitchell, kind of like a Nick Fury vibe.
He's definitely a four-star general by now, wouldn't you think?
Probably, yeah. Commanding everything. How about yourself? Where would Ryan be?
I'd probably be working for this guy.
Yeah.
Because I got a lot of, I still got a lot of redeeming to do, so.
Keith, where do you think Joel would be?
I think he has a medium flight score.
All right, I like it.
Stand up and fly planes.
There you go. Stand up and fly planes. Multifaceted. That's definitely a skill set. Sasha, where's Kelsey?
Kelsey is probably teaching people how to rock climb and like she has her own summer camps.
Extreme sports school.
Yeah, extreme sports school.
I like that. Mike, where's Chad? What's he doing now?
I'd be working with the captain, training the next generation of recruits for the new seasons.
There you go. Life imitating on Sean. How about you? Where's Carter?
He'd be trying to marry into the family.
Queen and Sheriff, where would they be? Would they be free now?
I see Queen Banshira that she can actually morph into being totally invisible. Because with dark matter, which I was really discovered by a woman physicist, she discovered dark matter, and I was doing Star Trek, and I thought, this is so egotistical of us to think that they all look like us. They don't. Actually, it's some that are invisible. So I think Queen Banshira can morph into being totally invisible like dark matter.
I like it. And where would Valkyria go?
So Vibra morphed into a normal civilian. Selling beauty products.
There you go. Well, look, unfortunately for you guys that are in line, we are out of time. That being said, though, you can meet all of these folks at their booth. Ask your questions there. Have them do a morph. Morph with them.
By the way, speaking of reboot, I hope you all watch The Legend of the White Dragon. Well, honor JDF, but they called me after he was gone and asked me if I'd come in and do some stuff on the reshoot. So look forward to that reboot. That's going to be a lot of fun. Legend of the White Dragon.
But let's hear it for the Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue!
You guys do me a favor. I'm gonna count to 3. Can you guys yell Lightspeed really loud and hysterical? You ready? One, 2, 3. Thank you guys.
Is that a Quasar Saber? It is, yeah. I got on Etsy. I got on Etsy. Yeah, I got on Etsy. Selling it for like $120. Yeah.